Opinions matter.
Opinions matter.
Opinions matter. Opinions matter.
Opinions matter.
Opinions matter. Opinions matter.
Opinions matter.
Opinions matter. Opinions matter.
Opinions matter.
Opinions matter.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back.
What up, what up?
All right. Before we get into our next segment, we're gonna do our other segment called the grind. Right. The grind is where we shout out to entrepreneurs around the country. Just give them some shine because I know that being an entrepreneur is hard. It's hard work, but it's also rewarding. And so this week we're going to start off with Shaman Gayton.
Yes. Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
From Prefer Productions, which is web graphic design and photography. They're based out of the ATL, right?
All right.
So we're making a trip to the ATL to get our...
Indeed. So if you need some, if you need some web design, graphic design, or photography, hit up Shaman Gayton, and we will give you her information in a few. Next we got Nicole Fogel. Is that what it is, right?
Yes.
From Miss Nick Travels, right? It's a travel agency.
All right.
She's based out of NYC. All right. So shout out to Miss Nick Travels. Indeed.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
Our first trip.
We also want to shout out Gerald Hayward. All right. From Custom Creations. 4G, which is teacher of design. He's out of Philadelphia.
All right.
Shout out Gerald.
Another family.
Yep. Another family member. All right. I want to shout out Mr. Rob Davis Sr.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
Big Rob.
Oh, Lord.
Big Rob.
Big Rob.
All right. In the moment photos and events. Family photos, event photos. If you need it shot up, just go ahead and hit him up.
Support, bro.
He's out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Does he got the video where he claimed I broke his ankle? When we was in school, he said I broke his ankle playing basketball.
Maybe you did.
No, I didn't.
No. Shout out to Jeannie Daughtry of Cookie Texas Cookies. All right.
All right.
Local. She's a Phoebus alumni. All right. So if you need cookies, cakes, baked to order,
them cookies.
They are delicious.
Wow.
Matter of fact, you remember she gave us a sample of the cookies.
Yeah. The one you held and then
Wait, y'all got? How I ain't get a sample?
You was up in Charlottesville. You was up in Charlottesville with the tiki torches.
Well, we want to thank you. Again, if you want something different for your loved ones, I'm telling you, these cookies and these cakes are delicious.
I need to try the cookies.
All right, so make sure you hit her up. All right, and last but not least, Mr. Robert Jackson. All right, Junior, Mr. Robert Jackson Jr. Rough House Boxing and Newport News. All right, if you want to fight, learn how to fight legally. All right, or you won't have to go to jail.
No charges.
No, you hit.
You get in the ring.
You get in the ring like a man.
Pull the gloves
Strap on them gloves. Hit up Rob Jackson Jr.
I know that dude. Good, went to school with him. Good dude.
Again, go to our Facebook page. You're gonna have more information on these entrepreneurs.
All right.
Again, if you want to be talked about in the grind, make sure you hit us up on Facebook or any of our social media avenues. All right, just hit us up.
All right.
So we're gonna jump right into our next topic.
Let's go.
Which is race relations in the United States.
All right.
Now, as you can see, we're four black young men. Right.
All right.
But everybody's opinion matters. Right.
All right.
So we did go to we posed this question on our Facebook page. We reached out to our friends and what have you, and we did get some other perspectives which we will share during this segment. From our Caucasian friends and other people. So this is what we're gonna do. All right.
Caucasian.
So we're gonna start with you, Adolph.
All right.
What is your take on race relations in the U.S. as we stand right now?
You know, I think that a lot of press has been given to the negative side of race relations in this country.
I agree.
But I am really and you know, the media has a large part to play. In how they convey the message about race relations in this country.
I agree.
I still believe that there are a number of white folks who understand that the struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
And that they know that there is a place within this struggle that they place themselves in. In other words, they understand that in spite of how it may look to the outside, you know, folks who are looking at how race relations are in this country, they understand that they're, as white people, they have had, their ancestors had a part to play in, you know, I guess being involved in, you know, white supremacy and how those things transpire. But these people are really looking at changing the narrative.
Okay.
They want to be able to say, look, we know what our forefathers did and how they did black people wrong.
That's the big
But
key.
what we are saying
That's the big key.
is that we decided we are going to change how we are looked upon. Like, we want to be seen as people who understand your plight, we understand your struggle, we understand that we benefit from a lot of what is taking place against black people. And they want to be able to come alongside of us in this struggle and help us in changing how black people are looked upon. Like, not all black people on crack.
Right.
Not all black people on welfare.
Exactly.
Not all black people are living out on the street and homeless and begging white people for a handout.
Right.
Okay? If you look at the sheer numbers, there are more white people who are on public assistance than black folk. Can we just say that?
Yeah.
That's a reality. You can fact check that. And so I think in terms of race relations in this country right now, I think that we got a long way to go, but I won't say that it's as long as it's been.
So you're encouraged.
I am encouraged.
All right. Okay. Donald, how do you feel about it? No, realistically,
No,
though,
seriously,
because we
seriously.
want to make sure that we get your, you know, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, Adolf hit on it. Basically, what I was wanted to say, but
Okay.
at the same time, what wanted to say, they need. Nah, I'm not gonna say that.
Okay,
I'm
there
not
you go.
gonna
Generalize it. Okay.
Don't generalize, right?
You need to stop saying "get over it"
Okay.
or you know, this goes with the future and all that. You have to recognize what was done in the past, so you won't make the same mistakes in the future.
Okay.
This
You gotta
true.
learn from it.
I agree with that.
So you don't hear us saying "get over 9/11" or "get over the Holocaust."
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, so why do you use that narrative? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
That's what gets me when you say "get over it" or "move forward." Come on, you ain't getting over 9/11. You
Right.
have 9/11, you know, the Holocaust and all that. Come on, you ain't saying all that. But
So basically, if people don't, it gets you when people don't want to open up and hear your point and realize that something did go on.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And just own that piece. We're not saying they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
we're saying-
because they
Yeah.
benefit, like you said, they benefited from it.
Right.
They benefited from it to this day.
Right.
And then you got to recognize that. I mean, David Banner asked this one in Hidden Colors documentary. He asked this white lady. He said, "Do you believe that you benefited from slavery?" And she was like, "Yeah." And she was like, he was like, "Well, are you willing to give that back, give that up?" And she was like, she started crying. It was like, dang, she didn't know what to
That's
say.
a real
Right.
question.
She didn't know what to say.
Yeah, that's
I
real.
mean,
That's
you
a
got
real
to
question.
acknowledge what your ancestors did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
And
Good point.
but then on the another flip side of that too, then you get this. How is it? You got they was inbred, you know, inbred. Their great grandfather,
Right.
they had that, and they instilled it in them, and they, you know what I'm saying. You come up and they teaching it to them,
Right.
Until we get that. And get them to look at it from another point of view, you know what I'm saying? And instead of this, look at, well, my grandfather said this, so I was taught this. You got to open up and say, okay, why do you act like that? Why did this happen?
Right.
What, you
Ask
know what I'm
questions.
saying? Yeah, ask a question and have a open, meaningful, open dialogue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The people scared to talk about this nowadays.
Right.
For real. So, I mean, as soon as
That's
they
real.
think somebody is angry.
All right.
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 But you know what I'm saying? But you're not
Right.
angry. You get angry at the fact that you're being, I don't want to say ignorant, you're being, what's the word I'm looking for? When you
I think a lot of people are naive.
yeah, there you go.
To the
Now,
right.
yeah.
To the fact.
Stop being, let's open up your ears and listen. Open up a book.
And have some empathy
Yeah.
Right.
for the plight.
Exactly.
Of
And
somebody
don't
else.
believe all this what we was taught in school. That
Okay.
Right.
And that's a whole nother.
That
exactly.
is. That is.
Haran, what do you think?
I want to say that I am optimistic
Okay.
about race relations.
Okay.
But the more that I think about it, I'm more pessimistic, and I'm you know, I don't want to be.
Right. I don't think none of us do.
Yeah, and,
Right.
you know, I was watching this show a few weeks ago on ESPN. It's called Dear Black Athlete, and they had a panelist on there. He was his name escapes me, my apologies, but he was the athletic director. He was one of the only few black athletic directors in a Division I college.
Okay.
And he broached a question, or he said, "Don't get confused with change and progress."
Okay.
He said, "Change, of course, everything is going to change, but have we made progress?"
Good point.
And so I think
Good point.
that's a real. That's to me, that's the bigger question.
Right.
If you think about it from the civil rights, when the civil rights bill was passed, what, 1964?
Right,
That was
right.
54 years.
Right.
How much change, or how much progress have we made? I mean, if you really think about it, 54 years, that's not a real long time.
Right.
And from 1964 to today, can you really honestly say that there's been any real progress in race relations? And the thing, and I think Donald or you said that if we are ever going to progress,
Right.
white people and look, I don't want to put, say all white people are bad, and,
Right.
and that's not fair.
Definitely.
You know, it's like saying all
Definitely.
black people are good.
Yeah.
You know, we
Exactly.
all know.
It's bad.
Exactly.
It's bad.
Exactly.
I don't want to paint them all with one broad brush.
Right.
But until they actually come to the table and we have a honest dialogue about race, we're never ever going to see the progress that we should see.
True.
I'm not saying there hasn't been any progress,
Right.
but I just believe the progress could have been better had we actually sat down. And they have to really take ownership and look. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
You know, I have to look at myself and take ownership of
Right.
the things that I think, the things that I've done. Because if you can't sit here and say, and I ask you the question, why do you hate me? Why don't you like me?
Right.
And you can't really come up with a definitive answer other than the something someone else has told you,
Right.
a stereotype that you've heard over the years,
Right.
And you can't sit across the table and actually engage me in that kind of conversation. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point where we can say, you know, we made significant progress.
Right.
So,
But I think, from my point of view, there will always be differences.
absolutely.
But I think that for us, 1 to 100% say that you know they're gonna we want everybody to acknowledge what we went through. That's not gonna happen.
Right.
Of course
So
not.
and I think that sometimes we're gonna have to agree to disagree and to move on.
Right.
But I am encouraged. But I think the people who are living just off of social media. It's a lot of hate on social media.
Man, I swear, that's
And if you look on social media, you will think the world is the worst place ever.
And that's one of the reasons why I really try not to engage.
Yeah, and
because they already have it in their mind that
made up.
yeah.
But I also think that social media plays almost like it puts fuel on the fire. Like I have a friend and we're gonna go. We got some comments from a couple of our viewers. One of them is a good friend of mine, Jason Isherwood. Me and him, he's Caucasian male. We served in the military together, and now me and him have some. We don't agree on a lot of stuff. We don't. We don't agree on a lot of stuff. But and me and him go way back. We broke bread together. I've been over his house, met his lovely wife Janine.
Right.
I mean,
right.
we've done a lot of stuff together. And he backed off of social media. He shut his social media page down.
Oh wow!
Because he said that he felt that social media was pouring gas on an already lit fire. And he said that he found himself even contributing to some of that.
Right.
Which he did some self-reflection.
That's honest. That's
right?
honest.
You know what?
So this is what
I need to hit him up.
and this is what he says. He says, I feel like there's a lot of tension still. Maybe in the 80s and 90s there was tension, but not like there is today. White people are labeled as racist, right? Some of them, even though that title shouldn't be given to them, just by having a different opinion. I also think that social media pours gas on an already lit fire and emboldens people to spit hate out of their mouths without fear of consequences and punishments.
Well,
all right? And he said, I feel like many non-white people see the reversal of prejudice as long overdue, but won't admit it. I also know that prejudice still exists against black folks, and that is disappointing considering the progress we have made from the 50s and 60s. All right. Now, he would probably never know the pain that most black people, folks have held inside because of what their personal experience have done to them. I don't believe he does not believe now in systematic racism. And I know that racism is a learned behavior. So the only way to move past is to address the parental issues that cause it. All right. He also is not a believer in white privilege, though. All right. And hold on, we're gonna go back. I think that is a trend created by someone who's desperate for answers and decides not to dig deep enough to realize that anyone who has a halfway intelligent brain can literally do anything they want. I could go on, but the more I talk about it, the further in the weeds I get. All right. He said he also believes that politics has a direct correlation with race relations.
I got a question.
Yeah, politics.
I want to ask a question from all of y'all.
Okay.
And this is along the lines when President Obama was elected the first time in 2008.
Right.
How did each one of y'all feel? And Raymond, you too, if you can want to. What was your initial feeling?
My initial feeling was not that things were going to change automatically.
No,
right.
My initial feelings was that we had moved to a different layer. But if you peel everything back, his President Obama came in. He came in at the right time, I believe.
Right.
But I think that there was a lot of factors that had to go right for him to get in there.
Right.
You know, because I think for one, people on the other side thought he couldn't win.
Okay.
All right. For two, he hit up social media like crazy.
Right.
And I think that really propelled him forward to winning. But overall, a lot of people don't agree with it. He didn't do everything right.
No.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Because you couldn't be president of just black people. You couldn't be president
of everybody.
If you make that mistake.
Yeah.
And you got Ultra would be trust on that. They on that.
Before we go, I want to read another thing from one of our viewers. Jeannie Daughtry, all right. I asked her, and she says that she has a different perspective. All right. She said, I think we have a long way to go. All right. I have learned and believed that I was open-minded and not racist, but I have a long way to go. All right. I have to say a lot. Then she says, quick summary. I'm beginning of understanding white privilege. All right, and I'm not dumb. So for it, take me this long to appreciate that there's a basic difference in how you get on the world based on the color of your skin. That we clearly have a way to go. So she says that there's a difference when I enter 7-Eleven with my son, and she's white, her son is white, versus when I go in with Jordan, his black best friend. There are fears that Jordan's mother has that I don't have the same experience simply because Jordan was born black.
Wow.
I think that it took me truly loving someone as I do Jordan to recognize some things that I have to worry about for him that are not threats to my Eddie.
Right.
And that's the God's honest truth.
Right.
I think if everybody had that type of empathy, we would go along.
But you understand that, you know, we're always fighting to be the first black first. And I think that also plays a part in, I guess, white America having some kind of disdain. I wouldn't say disdain, but they think differently of us because they never really had to be the first to do anything.
Right.
So we're always happy when we see the first black president or we see the first black heavyweight champion and all that, because and I'm personally tired of celebrating that first because I don't feel like we should always, I mean, but we shouldn't always have to strive to be that. You understand?
Right. And you haven't said that as a good point. I have a friend named Avery. Me and him were in the military together, and he had a interesting post on social media where he's trying. Well, what he wants is probably not realistic. And Avery, love you, man. But he's saying that the racial categories, black, white, why can't we just be people? And his thing is that is saying that because we do recognize ourselves as black, right? That somehow puts this certain stigma about us, and that puts limits on what we can do or what we think we can do.
It puts limits.
Yeah. Mentally, almost like chains. Right. And that's just his point. And there's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so let's take it for instance, and it may be like you say, okay, I'm black, right? So I go into this job and I'm with a white person or whatever, or what have you. Just anything.
He had 100 and I gotta be 120.
Right. Right. So he's saying that if we go in and just be our best us,
Right.
we always gonna give 120 anyway. No matter if you black, white, or whatever. If I'm a person, me as me,
Right.
I'm gonna give it 120. So he doesn't like to be categorized as that. And that's just him.
But if you do that though,
Yeah.
you go in that. Let's say if you go in that meeting, but that dude sitting behind the other,
That's the point.
That's where you know what I'm saying. He said, even though you 120, you got an MBA, you got a PhD, you got all this stuff.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
his point, though.
you understand?
Yeah, I understand
Right.
what he's saying, but you got that. I work on that person behind that desk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he right there he's holding your right there, and he got that. He's been raised that all black people are bad. They're not. They're malcontents. They're this. They're that. And then
Right.
you looking at they got this white dude over here. Hey, he's gonna be the greatest.
And that's the stereotype that has to be dispelled.
Yeah,
you
right.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, that's he's correct. But
Right.
It's not him.
We're a long way from there.
Yeah, when you're in the majority,
Right.
yeah, exactly. We're a long way.
You have to look at the reality of where we live.
Right.
And even though, and I don't want to say in theory, but I think the reality of where we live right now says that as a black person that exists in this country, there are certain things that I have to do to be able to excel, to exceed, these limitations that are placed upon me that a white person just does not have to do. And so I got to jump higher.
Yep.
So I got to run faster.
And some white people, go ahead.
I got a quick story. I got a friend. He applied for. I ain't gonna say the name of the company. It's here right here. It's a major company all over the United States. He applied for a managerial position. All right. He applied, put down, put his resume in. Didn't get a call. Didn't get nothing. So, okay. He looked up on the website again about a month later. The same position was posted. So this time, what he did, he reapplied, but he put down Caucasian. And guess what he got?
Got a call?
Got a call.
Wow.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I think somebody
You know what
needs to
this?
be suing him.
Yeah, seriously.
That's true. That's a true story.
This is a subject we're not going to have
Seriously.
time to.
Hey, can I share something real quick? Just real quick.
Go ahead.
Looking for an Airbnb. My girlfriend and I, Muffin, we're gonna run a race in.
Shout out to Muffin.
Shout out to Muffin. My girl, right? So we're looking for Airbnb. She says, babe, check this out. She's looking for Airbnb, finds one. Guess what the specifications say about this particular Airbnb?
What?
Airbnb. Thank you for looking at the Airbnb. We're a very inviting family. We have a nice king bed. You can be able to sleep here in comfort. We make coffee, donuts in the morning. It's a very great white neighborhood. That was in the in the Airbnb. That was in the description.
See,
So we got a long way to go in race relations, people.
We do. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for their opinion on this. Shout out to Jason, my man Isherwood, and shout out to Jeannie for your input as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back with our final segment where we will give you just our opinion. We'll be right back.
All right.
All right, welcome back.
What's up?
All
What's
right,
up?
to our final segment of the day, entitled Just My Opinion. In this segment, we all four will give our opinions on a particular topic. And remember, it's just our opinion. Because I may not agree with him, or him.
That's right.
All right,
That's
so
right.
just keep that in mind. All right, so I'll go first. All right, so since today one of our episodes or one of our segments was on race relations, I want to keep it there. I think that in order for this nation to move forward, we have to be have more empathy towards the plight of one another, and just make sure that we are able to move into each other's space a little bit and understand what another person is coming from. I want to read a quote from a book called Brave in the Wilderness by Brene Brown. All right, she is a well-known psychologist, and she goes around the country speaking on certain topics. And if you haven't heard of this book, Brave in the Wilderness, make sure you go out and get it. Well, one of her quotes from the book is, "A call to move closer to each other because people are hard to hate close up." Right? A call to speak truth to BS, but to be civil about it. And hold hands with strangers, all right? So meeting up strangers, just having that dialogue with someone, helping them understand your point of view and you understanding their point of view, and if need be, agree to disagree and move on. I think this country, which is the greatest country in the world, will move forward despite everything that's going on right now. And that's just my opinion.
Well said.
All right. All right. I want to just share that I believe that as far as stereotypes that are portrayed by many of our African American brothers and sisters, we need to cut that out. And what I'm saying is, if you are continually displaying a bunch of nonsense on social media where you are arguing, you're going back and forth with other people of color because you can't agree to disagree, then that's a problem. I think honestly you are just reinforcing stereotypes that many of our non-black brothers and sisters who are beholding what you're doing are saying about us.
Right.
So what I feel is that even if you can't come to terms, you can't come into an agreement with somebody, you need to shut it down, because we don't want to reinforce these kinds of stereotypes that are plaguing the black community. And furthermore, I think that as a community, we need to learn how to work with one another. Just because you offer this particular product and I don't offer that product, and maybe I have what you need to make your product better, don't talk about this person's product because it's not where it needs to be. Help them. Encourage them. Now, it's a difference if a person don't want to take your help, but at least offer that. And that's just my opinion.
Amen. Amen. Donald?
Okay, I'm gonna keep it into the race things on my opinion. We got the NFL draft combine coming up. It's taking process right now. Okay, and my number one pet peeve is the black quarterback. We have a black quarterback that's there now, Lamar Jackson. Now Lamar Jackson won the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago. Were you 2 years ago?
2 years. That's right.
Came
2 years. 2
runner
years.
up this year. Same stats off the chart. He did the thing.
Right.
But when you get to the NFL draft combine, they want to make him a wide receiver.
I wonder why.
This is what gets me, is that people say, "Oh well, it's not a big deal." Oh, everyone did. The Amendola did it for the Patriots. Blah blah blah. This that, and what you mad for? Because we got you got Cam Newton, you got Russell Wilson, and all that. But they fail to realize, for every Cam Newton and Russell Wilson, there was always a Reggie Collins, a Walter Briggs, a Joe Adams, a Willie Totten.
Satellite Totten.
They call him. It was a beast that never got the chance because of the color of his skin. The history of the black quarterback is rich. It didn't start with Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl. It was way before him. Way before him. So we need to just stop that. The owners or the GMs need to cut that out and just say, hey, it's not the color of your skin, it's what you do on the field.
That's right. Amen. That's right.
That's
good stuff.
And you also can't forget about Major Harris from
West Virginia.
Who's
the quarterback for Pittsburgh before Terry Bradshaw? What was his
Joe
name?
Harris.
Joe Harris.
Joe
Gilliam. Joe Gilliam, right? Was it
Joe Gilliam.
Joe Gilliam.
Joe Gilliam won like 7-8 games when Bradshaw was out. It was better than Bradshaw.
Right.
And
I thought Charlie Warren was going to be...
exactly.
He had the same problem.
Yeah, he did. All right, Ron, it's on you, man. What's
I
your
always
opinion?
live by this motto: the true essence of a man is to build a strong foundation from the bricks that others are throwing at him. You ever heard that?
All right.
Speak.
To me, that means adversity, you can overcome it.
Right.
So the one thing that bothers me about people, and especially for the black race, is that we kind of seem to hold things as a crutch and can't seem to move forward. So learn from your mistakes and just try to do better.
All right.
Because nobody's going to give you a handout and nobody's going to care if you're just sitting around feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
So learn from that quote I just made or just gave you, and just be better and pick yourself up off the ground and move on.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
All right. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
To another episode of Opinions Matter. Please continue to support us.
Please subscribe.
Share.
Please.
Subscribe.
Still got those autographed
Reshare.
pictures available.
You don't want
Nobody
those.
wants those.
But subscribe.
Those pictures are definitely out of date. So
Yes.
y'all make sure. But hey, we want to thank y'all again. Tune in next time. Hey, remember.
Thank you.
All right, we may not be experts at anything, but we
But
have opinions about everything.
Everything.
Tune in next time. We'll
All
see you
right,
guys
peace.
later.
Later.